Shabana Begum, who's a Hepatitis C ambassador, and Siobhan Fahey, who's the programme manager for the Association of Greater Manchester PCTs Hepatitis C Strategy. Oh, that's a long old title, isn't it, Siobhan? I'll start with you. It needs a strategy in this country because a lot of people of South Asian descent here in the UK may have hepatitis C, will almost certainly know someone who has hepatitis C, but it can go relatively symptomless or sort of non-specific symptoms for quite some time, can't it?
Absolutely. I mean, in the northwest, there's many people have hepatitis C. Perhaps 14,000 people have got hepatitis C over the whole general population.
And it's the most serious of all the hepatitis.
Well, I mean,
because there's hepatitis A, B, and C. Can you maybe just outline just the difference between the three?
That's a really good point. I mean, all the hepatitis viruses affect your liver, and hepatitis A is quite well known. People might pick it up when they're travelling, when they're popping back to Pakistan or to India, and people pick it up from dirty water, and they get very ill, 6 months, and then they're better. Hepatitis B is a different story, but the great thing about hepatitis B is there is a vaccination against it. So my advice for anybody concerned about hepatitis B who are going back home at any point, get yourself vaccinated, go to your GP, get yourself vaccinated.
So you do have to be extra careful when it comes to hepatitis C in particular.
Well, the problem with hepatitis C is that there is no vaccination.
Right.
And so people have historically picked it up in some of the poorer countries where the healthcare hasn't been as wonderful. From doctors and sometimes the hakims, the local doctors in local villages, not using clean needles when people are getting injections. Other things from sometimes barber shops. You know, everyone knows barbers on the street. Sometimes they don't change the razors. So sometimes people have picked it up in Pakistan either because they've spent some time out in Pakistan, like Shabana did.
Yeah, Shabana, you have more experience of how easy it is for people to contract hepatitis C in Pakistan. Tell us a bit more about your experience.
Correct. I actually picked up hepatitis C at the age, at the age of 13, whilst on holiday in Pakistan. Was ill. My father took me to the local GP. He actually injected me with an injection that was not sterile.
Right.
15-20 years later, I discovered I wasn't feeling well, and I went to my local GP, had the routine tests done, they all came back clear. And then I went back to the GP again and said I'm still not feeling well, so we did further testing, and the further tests were HIV and hepatitis. And HIV came back negative,
yes,
but hepatitis came back positive.
So you had a period of 15 or 20 years
Yes.
where you had no symptoms?
I didn't have any symptoms up till the last couple of years.
Right.
Where,
And what were those symptoms initially?
Depression, feeling tired, feeling lethargic, not being able to sleep at night, not being able to digest my food correctly. So I had a lot of stomach upsets. I knew something was wrong,
right,
but I couldn't pinpoint it. That's why I went to my local GP.
And identification, I guess, is the most important thing. But I guess, Siobhan, without non-specific initial symptoms, or even as Shabana saw, no symptoms for 15 or 20 years, identification isn't as simple as it sounds then.
Well, I think the first thing that people should think about is just talking to their family, thinking back into their history. You know, do you think there's been times when people have been at risk? Talk to your family. And if you want more information, go and talk to your GP. And tell them that you've spent time and you think maybe you've had. It's a simple blood test. It's not a big deal, and there is a treatment. It's a difficult treatment, but there is a treatment.
So the ease of travel back and forwards to Pakistan, obviously, it's a lot easier now than it was in times gone by. That really does increase your risk, then, doesn't it?
It depends really, but presently we're actually campaigning that if you are going back to Pakistan or any South Asian country,
yes,
you must take your own syringes and be more
proactive.
You know, be sensible. Basically, think twice.
I mean, it's
don't
quite
go
simple.
to vaccine. Yeah,
hepatitis C is spread by blood.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's infected blood, and so it's just to be blood aware, to think about clean needles, get clean razors.
Take your own razors. Take even your own syringes from here.
Right.
You know, or if you are in Pakistan, you don't have your own medical equipment with you. You go to some, reputable medical institutes rather than backstreet doctors.
Yes.
So
pay a little more.
Yeah, pay a little more.
Shabana, can I ask you about the treatment? Obviously, you did contract hepatitis C. Quite a scary prospect, I think, for most people. Quite a potentially painful set of symptoms that you had as well, both not just physically but emotionally as well. Talk us through the treatment that you had.
Well, after I was told by my GP that I had hepatitis C, I was forwarded to the specialist, where I met Siobhan, who was my nurse at that time, very supportive. She became my rock. Then I was actually, the treatment, I was told about the treatment, and Siobhan said to me, you need to block out 6 months in your diary for your treatment, because you may not be able to do anything else but the treatment.
Really?
At the time I was in part-time work. I have my own little beauty business which I used to run.
Okay.
And which I had to put up on hold.
Right.
But still, during the treatment itself, which included 1 injection a week, self-administered, the introduction was done by Siobhan for the first 4 weeks, and then I had to self-administer it.
Siobhan, just briefly, what does this treatment consist of? I mean, it sounds quite invasive if you almost have to set aside time to be treated. Of course, it's right to be treated, but what kind of level of treatment are we talking
Everybody's
about?
different, and I think Shabana, you know, although she'll tell you she suffered, I'd get phone calls from her off to some fashion show on her way to Birmingham. She couldn't make the appointment. Everyone reacts different. I would say the people who work and carry on working do the best on it, to be honest. You know, struggle on through. It's a difficult treatment. Little injection in your tummy that gives you like flu symptoms.
Right.
But people get through it. It's 6 months. Some people are flawed more than others, but if you go in with the right attitude and
and carry on
and family
and battle
help
through it.
and battle through.
And ultimately, you said there wasn't necessarily a cure for it.
Oh no.
But this treatment combats.
It's a cure.
Right.
It is a cure.
Okay.
That's why I'm sat here today in front of you.
It is an absolute cure.
It is.
So that's it. Now, so Shabana is now clear forever.
That's history. Yes.
Okay. So has she built up a bigger immunity?
She kills the virus, as far as we can tell. Very, after the treatment, almost nobody gets it back again.
Fantastic. And how's life post-treatment, Shabana?
Post-treatment is fantastic. Whilst I was undergoing treatment, I actually discovered how stigmatized it is in our Asian community, in the South Asian communities, and that actually egged me on to do a lot of voluntary work, get involved with promoting awareness on hepatitis C itself, and been working leaps and bounds now.
We went to Pakistan together
a few years ago
together.
To raise awareness as well.
To raise awareness in Pakistan, and we came back here and discovered that the work we did still have a problem here as well in talking within the communities. Families won't talk to each other.
And there's lots of support available. I've got a helpline number as well.
There's beginning to be support. There's beginning to be support.
Yes.
So this is the beginning of something much bigger.
And I actually actively, I'm doing a lot of work still.
She's the director of a charity for Asian people with hepatitis C over in Bradford.
Which is called the Peacock Project, and I'm actually working with now 2 days a week in London with the Hepatitis C Trust, and I still work a lot with the Department of Health promoting awareness on hepatitis C as well.
Fantastic.
So
now listen, I'm sorry, time has beaten us already.
Okay.
Always happens in this situation, but I have a telephone number to give you as well if you want more information.
And a website.
And a website as well, which I'll put on our website as well, which is 0800 181 4774. That's 0800 181 4774 if you want advice about hepatitis C, if you're worried about somebody in the family, if you're concerned about yourself. Obviously go and see your GP as well, but your first port of call really, give this number a ring, 0800 181 4774. There is a website as well, which is nhs.uk/hepc/South Asian, and we'll put that on our own website as well at shine-tv.co.uk. Ladies, thank you so much for coming in this morning. I'm sorry our time was so tight, it was so quick, but we'll put all of the details, of course, on our own blog and our website as well, shine-tv.co.uk.